Yahoo Sports Fantasy Football Live is presented by Sleep Number.
Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome to Fantasy Football Live. I am Liz Loza, believe it or not, and I'm here with my spooky Sunday morning crew, Andy, yes, that is Andy, Matt, Tank, Minty, all ready to get you set for Week 8 action in the NFL. But before we do, let's check out these costumes. And Mr. Behrens, yes, I do think I'll start with you.
Oh, yeah, I am prime Andy Dalton. I'm not current Andy Dalton. I am three-time Pro Bowl quarterback Andy Dalton, Cincinnati era. I got to tell you, I'm already overwhelmed by the hair coloring. I'm beginning to hallucinate already. I inhaled a lot of this, so we'll see how it goes.
Where'd you find that jersey? You get on eBay? Bid high?
Yeah, huge bid in the high single digits. That's correct.
Okay, awesome. Matt, I'm not quite sure. Are you Kyle Shanahan?
Indeed, yeah. As you can tell by my ridiculous flat-brimmed hat that I feel like a goofball for wearing, absolutely. Yeah, I am 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan. In an effort to conquer our anger out there in the fantasy community, I have decided to become that which angers us, which I think is therapeutic. And the completing part of my costume here is my little black book where I write down all of the players who have slighted me, all of the players who have wronged me, and I never think of them again. They disappear from the face of the earth. There is a pretty big crossover between the guys in this book and my draft board over here, but that is a conversation that we do not talk about.
Write it down and burn it. I hear that's something people do. All right, Minty, I see you representing Ole Miss.
I am indeed. No, I'm not Eli. I am Peyton this past Monday Night Football, who lost a bet to his brother and had to wear this the entire first half of last Monday Night Football.
Oh, I heard they just retired Eli's jersey. That was something fun to watch. But, you know, I don't want Tank to get mad as I talk about Eli Manning a little bit too much. I know it triggers him when I do. So, Tank, let's just move to you, and why don't you tell me, oh, yes.
Hey, look here, little sis. You know why I'm here. Like, I was on Monday Night Football a week or so ago, and so now I'm contractually obligated to, let y'all stick this damn camera in my face. So I'm going to go ahead and collect these checks while y'all rack up these FCC fines. But first, let me pour up something for Big Bruh, Ginger Fist, for my two little sisters, you know what I'm saying? And then for Lil Bruh, 3 shots, for the homies. And then I'm also say shout out to High Chews, because anybody that climb trees know that you like high chews when you have a high chew. You feel me? Yeah, you feel me.
Amazing. I guess I in this have to follow that. So cool. You might think that I look like the mascot for every longing millennial, but in fact, I'm not. I'm Tom Brady's muse, the avocado, perfectly paired with whole grain toast and or tequila. Okay, still lots of lineup decisions to make. Send your trickiest roster questions on Twitter using the AskFFL hashtag, or drop a question in the chat, and we'll try to treat you with as much sound fantasy advice as possible. Plus, our own Scott Pianowski is handing out candy over on Twitter, answering questions all morning long. Whew, all right, let's turn our attention to the injury reports now. Odell Beckham is active today against Pittsburgh. He was limited in practice Friday with a shoulder injury, but is planning to play through it. Our friend Austin Eckler, listed as questionable, but will be active today versus the Patriots. He missed some practice this week with a hip injury. Bucs tight end Rob Gronkowski is listed as questionable today against New Orleans, but NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reports there is optimism he will make his return after missing the last 4 games with a rib injury. Finally, it looks like it's going to be a game-time decision for Dak Prescott tonight against Minnesota. Cooper Rush did take first-team snaps this week, but the Cowboys will make the call during pregame warm-up, so good luck planning accordingly there. Oh, and a late addition to the injury report, Calvin Ridley will not suit up for the Falcons for personal reasons. That's the latest. Now let's get into our first over-under. Andy?
Yeah, that's right. First over-under of the show, and we're talking about a player who's actually making his return this week. He's been gone for like 2 months. Jerry Judy, much hyped coming into the season. We're going to set the number for his return at 69.5 yards. I will get us started. And I'm going over. You know I'm going over in this one. Hyper-talented player, obviously, with the best possible matchup. He gets the Washington football team. So far on the season, Washington allowing the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, to opposing wide receivers. They are the worst pass defense in the league, and I expect Judy to get his. He went over this total in the one game that he's played this season, and I think he will do it again this week. Matt Harmon, Kyle Shanahan, do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. I'm going over as well. I felt a little more confident in this when we didn't get those kind of sketchy late week practice reports about he was sort of limited or whatever, but I do expect him to get close to a full complement of his workload. And as you mentioned, Washington allowing the most air yards in the NFL. Like, there should be at least a couple of big passing plays to help Judy push this total over. And, you know, honestly, I'm also really interested to see what his role looks like, too. Are they going to use him more as a slot receiver with two big outside guys in Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton? I think so, and that'll lead to a lot of layup targets, quick looks from Teddy Bridgewater behind a bad offensive line.
Marshawn, are we going to make this a sweep? Please try to keep it clean.
Hey, yo, what's up, big bruh? Hey, yo, Peyton told me on Monday night that I need to roll with the under, so I'm going with the under, bruh. Like, you know, I fools with my man Jerry Judy like April 1st, but that don't mean Beast Mode gonna set y'all up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this little homie just pinched the football field, and y'all already feel like he don't come out and ball like Jerry Rice. Now, that boy Cortland the Centaur Sutton, half man, half Mustang, been balling all year, and all the things that Jerry Judy gonna do is help my boy ball. And don't forget about Noah Fant. He been doing this thing too, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like my dude, old man Vic Fangio, gonna let my boy crawl before he walks. So I'm not saying he gonna just flounder for y'all, but expect my man Cortland Sutton to go off and Judy to kind of chill a little bit today. You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? Shout out to
There it is, Marshawn Lynch, the voice of reason on this show. We're going to have more over-unders coming up, obviously, later in Fantasy Football Live. Right now, let's send it to Liz for a few fantasy sleepers.
Avocados for Chicago.
It's time for our game-changing sleepers presented by Sleep Number. We're going deep in the player pool to find guys who could be a big surprise and help change the fate of your fantasy team. Here are 2 players to consider in Week 8. Yeah, you know, there isn't a single fantasy manager actively playing that hasn't had a little moment when rolling out Joe Mixon. He's not the most durable dude. He's actually like the physical embodiment of a sprain, if you think about it. It looks like, by the way, the coaching staff in Cincy is feeling our pain, and that's why since Mixon's ankle sprain, Samaje Perine has been more involved. Perine has recorded 11 carries for over 50 rushing yards in back-to-back games, and guess what? He's not going away. Not against the Jets, at least. Not only has New York allowed the most fantasy points to opposing running backs, but the Bengals are 10.5-point favorites in this game, and Chris Evans is out. Perine is the sneakiest flex of today's slate. So there is, however, nothing sneaky about, at least sneaky good, about Geno Smith. But that doesn't mean that the Emerald City is devoid of fantasy gems. Gerald Everett's arrival in Seattle hasn't gone as planned, but I think things turn around this afternoon. He is consistently drawing looks in back-to-back games, and he's recorded a route participation percentage of 66.4. What does that mean, stat nerd? Well, it's the tight end 14 for that stat, so good. Plus, the Jags are really bad over the middle. They've allowed the 4th most fantasy points to the tight end position. Listen, Seattle needs a dub. Shane Waldron knows what a weapon Everett can be. This should be a layup, particularly for those of you missing Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, or George Kittle. Those are our game-changing sleepers presented by Sleep Number, helping NFL players gain their competitive edge by getting a good night's sleep. Ooh, things are heating up at the windows. Let's send it to the sportsbook and see what's trending. Minty?
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Sportsbook. Let's start off with a team that's kind of scary to bet on. The Washington football team is the least profitable team to bet on. No surprise there. They've only covered 1 game out of 7 this season. Next up, the Cowboys. Not only are they the most profitable team to bet on, covering in all games this season, but they're a profitable team to bet on the over as well, as they've hit the over in 5 of 6 games. Now, the most profitable team on the under, the Chicago Bears. They've hit the under in 6 of 7 games this season, and I'm getting a big bet last minute. Someone put a 6-figure bet on the Minnesota Vikings -3 against the Dallas Cowboys tonight. I don't know the exact amount, but that's a pretty scary bet to back up there. I'll be back in a bit with my best bets for Week 8.
All right, let's check in on our first check. Let's check in on our first check in social media this morning and answer some roster questions. Don't forget to send your questions to the hashtag AskFFL, and our first tweet comes from Heidi. Heidi has a question about Elijah Mitchell, Damien Harris, or Khalil Herbert. This is for her RB2 spot, and it is full PPR. These three running backs all ranked very closely together, but Andy, which one are you giving the edge to?
Yeah, there's no bad option here, right? I like all of these starts. I think all can be profitable. Obviously, Damien Harris is facing kind of a run funnel defense, but I'm going to go with Elijah Mitchell here. I think the run's going to be in play all day for San Francisco. He's the clear dominant force in that backfield. No worries about that. No Khalil Mack this week. The Bears defense, not that it's gangbusters in any given week, but it's going to be weaker than normal in this one. I think Mitchell's probably going to say, and I got no problem with Herbert either. Like, I like all these guys, but Mitchell to me is the one that has the greatest potential for like a multi-touchdown game.
All right, Heidi, I hope that one helped. And this is our next tweet. It is from Cameron, and Cameron has another flex question, I'm assuming. Alex Collins, Jacoby Myers, or David Johnson. Remember, no Mark Ingram. He is reuniting with the Saints in New Orleans now. Marshawn, what do you have to say about Alex Collins this week?
Hey, first off, let me tell Minty that I went on ahead and put that big bet in, you know what I'm saying? So that was on Beast Mode. Beast Mode put that well bet in, so we're going to go ahead and collect that later on today. But as far as what we talking about with this right here, we going to go with Alex Collins because, you know, I'm a running back, and I know how these things go. Hey, my man like to hit in between them gaps. He like to hit outside. He playing against a bunch of Jags, yo. And them Jags coming out to the West Coast. That's a long flight. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to deal with them elements out in, you know, Washington. Not D.C., but Washington State. You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? Yeah, Alex Collins. He gonna do that thing today, girl. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, our next tweet is from a human named Joe, and Joe has a flex question. Should he start Keenan Allen or Zach Moss? Matt, we haven't heard from you. Which name are you not putting in your little black book?
I mean, I actually kind of like Zach Moss today, you know, with the game script that we're looking at here. Buffalo's like a 14-point favorite over Miami at home. Like, that is the script that you want to use Zach Moss in. But that being said, I'm definitely playing Keenan Allen here. You know, the targets have been there all year. The red zone usage has been there. He's actually seen more targets inside the 10 and in the red zone than Mike Williams, his teammate there. So give me Keenan Allen for some positive regression in terms of the volume that he's been getting, and especially in scoring area. And I actually think this Patriots Chargers game should be pretty interesting for fantasy overall. Like, can't wait to see this one play out. So give me Keenan Allen here, even though I really do like Zach Moss as a play here.
All right, this next tweet comes from Easy-E. So, of course, I have to go to Andy with it. Who should I start, Mr. Barons? J.D. McKissic, LaMichael Pirine, or Devonta Booker?
Oh man, I like Pirine and Booker both a ton, and it is painful to have to pick just one of these. But I'm going to go Devonta Booker here. We're not going to get Saquon Barkley in this one. He faces Kansas City. Kansas City doesn't even like force punts this season. It is just an absolutely miserable defense. It's hard to imagine that Devonta Booker isn't going to find the end zone again. He's not the most efficient runner, but they do throw to him. He's basically guaranteed 16 plus touches in this one. So got to go Booker here. It hurts a little to sit Pirine. I think he's a great play this week.
It is time for our first break here on Fantasy Football Live. When we come back, it's Fantasy Trick or Treat with Austin Eckler in Eckler's Edge.
B, I want the real B.
I feel like I'm a starter. Everybody feel like I'm a starter.
If you don't know me, feel free to judge.
People always ask, will Kevin Love go back to Portland?
If I was wearing a Portland jersey, I mean, that's special. That's playing at home.
Did you talk to LeBron?
We never really talked about those battles. We moved forward from that.
There's some lines that even ambassadors shouldn't cross.
And then there's the load management.
How you feel about that, Dr. J?
I'm Hannah Kaiser, and this is The Bandwagon.
Yeah, baby.
The best way to watch baseball is with an unnecessarily masochistic level of emotional investment. Check out these dance moves. Ohtani unleashed.
Yeah.
Aliens fan. I don't know if they're watching. Huge fan. It was a socially distanced first pitch. He looks like a female superhero. This week on Humble Proposal, Jason Benetti, Jeff Passan, Shane Bieber. Every morning I wake up and I look at the standings and I'm like, who's out of the running? Nobody. Only the Pirates.
When I'm decorating a space, I'm constantly shopping, even on Yahoo Mail.
Oh, it's so perfect.
Finding the right piece really brings it all together.
Watch free, live football. The NFL is on your phone all season long. Watch the NFL live on the Yahoo Sports mobile app.
All right, we're talking fantasy freebies here. These are players who haven't even been started in 25% of Yahoo leagues. That's a very low bar, but they can help you out in Week 8. Marshawn, why don't you get us started?
Hey, yo, man, I'm going with that man, Matt Ryan versus Carolina. But first off, why y'all gonna tell me that Calvin really ain't playing like a minute before show? Like, why y'all trying to hate on beast mode picks, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm gonna go ahead and put it like this. Like, Carolina give up the 11 most points to fantasy quarterbacks, you dig? Now, I understand I ain't gonna have Ridley, but one factor that you gotta put in that most people don't think about is that they playing in Atlanta, right? So, therefore, they got them shake joints out there, you know what I'm saying? And so then I feel like all them boys just gonna be messed up from going out to the shake. And so then, therefore, Stephon Gilmore in his first game back was thinking he was gonna be playing on Ridley, and then he gonna be in Indianapolis trying to play on Julio. And that means that my boy Kyle Pitts is just gonna be dunking on folks like he been doing the past couple weeks. And don't forget about that boy Corduroy Patterson. Corduroy Patterson, that dude been balling in overalls and everything, Timberland boots, man, Matt Ryan gonna ball.
Like it, love the call. Kyle Shanahan, who you got?
Well, as I'm sitting here with two washed-up players, I might as well talk about another washed-up player in Deshaun Jackson, who's on the trade block right now. And the reason that he's on the trade block is because Van Jefferson has officially emerged for the Los Angeles Rams as like a routine, legit part of this offense. This guy is really good when you watch him play. I would never bench him for no reason at all. I'm not that kind of guy, of course. Van Jefferson, you look at him right now, he's got the Rams have the second highest implied team total overall on the board this week among guys that are going up. And I mean, the Houston Texans defense stinks. It makes sense. Like some of these ancillary players for the Rams beyond Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Darrell Henderson, someone's going to have to step up and boost this total up there. I think Van Jefferson is a great candidate to do it. He's run the fourth most routes on the team. He has a 13.7 average depth of target. He has been the vertical guy in this offense, which is why they're comfortable moving on from Deshaun Jackson. I think he can make a couple big plays against his bad pass defense. And again, I think he should be rostered in all leagues. Like he should not be out there available like he is right now.
It's true. It's a great call. Washed. Excuse me. I'm a 3-time Pro Bowler, sir. Let's keep that in check. I'm gonna go with Daniel Jones this week. I'm gonna go with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, an absolutely great start if you need a bye week plug and play. He gets the Chiefs on Monday night. You look what he did last week without his top 4 weapons, without the top 4 weapons in the offense. Still has a really nice fantasy day. Actually made the catch of the week last week. Just a terrific play so far. He's really made strides. And again, it's the Chiefs. This is the league's worst defense. They rarely force a punt. They give up the most yards per play in the league. It is extremely generous. Oh, by the way, he gets Kadarius Toney back this week. He gets Sterling Shepard back this week. He is going to put up 280, 300 passing yards, a couple of touchdowns. Other thing about the Chiefs, they've already given up 4 40-yard rushing performances to opposing quarterbacks. We know that's a part of Jones's game. So I'm looking for a big week out of Danny Dimes. Those are your fantasy freebies. Not free this week is Austin Eckler. He ain't cheap, but he did have some thoughts with Liz Loza.
Thank you, Andy. Every week I get a chance to talk fantasy with Chargers running back Austin Eckler and Eckler's Edge. We got in the spirit of Halloween with a little fantasy trick or treat this week. Take a look. I'm going to present to you a player, and you tell me if you think his recent positive production is a trick, meaning it won't continue in week 8, or is it a treat and said player will produce again this week? Sound good?
I like it. Let's do it.
Let's start in the backfield with the defending Super Bowl champions. Leonard Fournette leads the Bucs with 413 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. He's added 27 receptions for 222 yards. This week, the Bucs are at the Saints. So, is it a trick or a treat for Leonard Fournette?
Yeah, the Bucs are on a roll right now. They have been throwing the ball like crazy over there. And so, if you're playing the Bucs, what are you going to do? You're going to load up the box for the run, or you're going to try to stop Tom Brady from throwing it and dicing up your defense. And so I think people are trying to stop the pass so much that it's given him a lot of opportunities to get some space, which he's been taking advantage of. So yeah, I'm saying treat.
All right. Well, I don't disagree that it's a treat. I will say that positive game script has really helped Leonard Fournette over those last 3 weeks. And this matchup against the Saints is not easy. The Saints have only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns so far this season. That being said, I completely agree with you. I'm not expecting like a top 5 performance out of Fournette, but I'd still rank him as like a top 15 to 18 fantasy back this week. Moving along to the wide receiver position, let's talk about Michael Pittman. Pittman leads the Colts in receptions, targets, and yards, and he scored both his touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. The Colts host the division-leading Titans in Week 8. So, Austin, is Pittman a trick or a treat?
With T.Y. Hilton being out and he's getting more of the load, that's definitely been a reason why he's been getting more attention and actually having a little bit more success. But I think that's also some foreshadowing of, hey, this guy can actually, be a receiver one. I mean, it might not be as heavy with T.Y. being back, but I'm saying treat. I think he's going to hold on to a consistent play.
Yeah, I am with you. I hear your concerns about volume. The Colts are actually only 1-point underdogs, which leads me to believe there's going to be a lot of back and forth. So any concerns about how many looks Pittman could draw should be minimized, at least by the number of pass attempts between these two offenses. So I think for that reason, I am feeling pretty good about Pittman again. And I'm going to rank him in like the top, 25 wide receivers, certainly within the top 30 for the week. All right, now let's talk tight ends. And CJ Uzama is one of the breakout stars of the surprise breakout team in the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals. Uzama has 17 receptions on 19 targets for 256 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Bengals are at the struggling Jets in Week 8. So, is CJ a trick or a treat?
Yeah, man, I think, the Bengals came out of nowhere just from anyone's expectations. They are rolling, and CJ has been a big part of that. The biggest thing that stands out to me is his efficiencies, and going into a matchup, like you said, is favorable for the Bengals. I think, he's going to have another week to show why he can be a tight end one for you. So I'm going to go with treat.
I'm just not sure in a matchup against the Jets if Joe Burrow is going to need to do that much. That being said, if he's in the red area and there's an easy score, then yeah, I do think that CJ gets those 6 points. I would also say in this matchup, as a sneaky start, maybe Samaje Perine could really do some damage because I expect, like I said, the Bengals to be up quite a bit in this one over the Jets.
So are you saying trick?
I'm saying trick, I guess. Yes, I'm saying trick.
Hey, yo, holla. It's your boy Beast Mode with these Week 8 primetime ballers, you heard me? Now, first off, we starting with my man Kirk Cousins. The only team to beat the boys is the Bucs, right? And how did they do that? That boy, Tommy Boy, threw for 4 tubs on their knees, right? So he gave you the blueprint like Hove. So if you ain't picking up what I'm putting down, that dude, Captain Kirk, about to beam him up like Sky this week, you know what I'm saying? Now, we're going to move on over to Dallas. That boy Zeke the Freak, 31 bucks. Now, we know my man Dak rolling in with that pimp limp, you know what I'm saying? We don't even know if he playing. Maybe that dude Cooper Rush. So whatever gonna happen, Zeke gonna eat like it's Thanksgiving Day. Shout out to my people that be eating them fried turkeys on Thanksgiving, you feel me? Yeah, boy. Now, my superstar of the game, Adam Thielen. Like, for real, though, Adam Thielen was that dude before Cooper Kupp, you know what I'm saying? Like, that fella proves you don't have to be knee-high to a gumdrop in the slot, letting Tom Brady throw you the ball without, a little melanin on, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Thielen was that dude, yo, and he gonna ball out on Sunday night. You feel me? That's gonna be the way them Vikings gonna win. Now let's go ahead and speed that thing up to Monday Night Football, you know what I'm saying? Kansas City, New York Giants. Tyreek Hill. I know them boys been struggling, huh? Everybody on TV been dogging them boys, huh? I bet folks gonna be trying to moonwalk after that boy the Cheetah catch fire on Monday Night Football, cause them Giants, boy, they be getting honey roasted in the pass game. Give up the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers. And that boy Cheetah gonna eat. Let's believe that. Now on the flip side, Evan Ingram. Hey man, I'm gonna tell y'all what. That Giants wide receiver room, man, all of them just riding on 3 flats. I know they supposed to be getting Tony back. They're supposed to be getting Sterling Shepard back and all them boys back, but they still riding on 3 flats. Everybody all gimped up. This dude got picked high as a giraffe's ass, and he ain't done nothing for me yet. Hey, Evan Ingram, you better do something for me. You better do something for Daniel Dimes so he ain't out there throwing rusty pennies against that KC defense. Now, superstar, Patrick Mahomes, you already know what it is. Lil' bruh too damn good to be on them damn come on man highlights on the weekly. Now they playing in Arrowhead, the 2nd loudest stadium in the league. You feel? Under the lights on Monday night. My man Big Pat gonna get that. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Miko Hart, Darrell Williams, them Williams boys. You know I like the Williams, even though I'm Beast Boy. You know I like the Williams. Go ahead and plug them boys into your lineup and tell them Beast Mode sing. Now go ahead and send that thing out to the avocados from Mexico and that ginger fist for them flexes.
Oh, we're going to play a little Make Your Pick, Take Your Social Questions. I feel like all of the awards for Best Actor in a 90-minute fantasy show are decided. It's over. It's Tank. That was amazing. Liz, it's you and me taking some questions from the people. We're going to start with a question from Brian, and Brian asks, these are some good names. It's a half-point PPR. He needs 2. Darrell Williams, Javonte Williams, Kenneth Gainwell, or Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson giving all kinds of people trouble. I will start us off with this one and see if you agree. I'm going to go Darrell Williams here in a game where they should not fall behind this week, one would think, and it should tilt toward him. And I actually really like Javonte Williams here against Washington, mostly because I like everything against Washington. So I'm going to play the 2 matchups here, but I could understand a case for Gainwell or Gibson if you want to make it.
Yeah, I think that you just want to be cool like Marshawn and go with those Williams boys. That seems to be a popular trend right now. I am going to disagree. I do think Darrell Williams is the play, one of those Williams boys, because he's got the best shot at a touchdown here, right? He's got a red zone look in every single game this week, even before CEH got hurt. I do, however, have issue leaning towards Javonte Williams because we know Melvin Gordon's going to be involved in this game. And even though the matchup is great, like Jerry Judy is back as well. And so I'm going to lean towards Antonio Gibson. The shin issue, definitely an issue. However, when reviewing the practice reports, it is hopeful feeling that he managed a full workout on Friday, which is not something he has managed. So he looks to be a little bit healthier. So I'm going to go with Williams and Gibson for that reason. Plus, I think Von Miller's out this week.
True. Another good reason. I don't hate the call at all. Let's go to another question here and see what you've got. This one is Big Island Surfa. Need 2 from Zach Moss. Mentioned him earlier. Pittman, Booker, Gibson, and Landry. These are also pretty good options. Liz, are you going Gibson again?
No, I'm not going to go Gibson here. I do like Zach Moss because of game script, as Matt mentioned earlier. Also, like, he scored against them twice in week 2, and that was his first game back since he was a healthy scratch in week 1. I don't expect everything to be a copy and paste situation, but when I think about the goal line production that Moss has amassed over the season thus far, I do feel really good about the matchup and this week. So I like him. And you know what? I really like Michael Pittman. I talked about it with Austin on Eckler's edge. I do think there's going to be a lot of back and forth versus Tennessee. I believe the over-under in this one is 50.5. And even though T.Y. is back, I still think Pittman is the wide receiver 1, so that's why I'm going to lean towards those 2 players.
Yeah, absolutely love Pittman this week. Can't disagree with you there. Let's take another question here. Let's go to Lunar Tick, and they need 1 for a full PPR league. Again, great options. Khalil Herbert, Alex Collins, Michael Carter, Kenneth Gainwell, and I am going to pick against Kenneth Gainwell again. Nothing really against him. He's got a great matchup against Detroit, but I got to go Khalil Herbert if you only need 1 here. Like, you might not like the matchup against San Francisco. You might not love it, but Khalil Herbert just went off against Tampa Bay. Granted, it wasn't a particularly competitive game, but he just had a really nice effort against Tampa Bay. He's looked the part in every game he's played. And he's also been active as a receiver, too. We've kind of thought that was going to be the role reserved for Damien Williams. It has not been. Khalil Herbert has really surged to the point that I think he perhaps has a role when David Montgomery comes back as well. Do you agree?
I completely agree. He's been the best silver lining surprise for the Bears this whole season, not one that we expected by any means. Herbert has gone over 100 yards in back-to-back games, and I understand the hesitation is versus the matchup, right? But against Tampa Bay, catching 5 balls, like they're finding ways to keep him involved, which is maybe the only good thing Matt Nagy, Bill Lazor is doing.
All right, let's take one more. And our fourth question here comes to us from Jake. Jake is asking, it's a standard league, needs 2 wide receivers and a flex, and it's a big, long list. It's DJ Moore. He's great. It's Deontay Johnson. He's great. Keenan Allen. Yep. Michael Pittman. Devin Singletary. To me, one of these names is not like the others, but I will let you make this call, Liz.
So I think we both agree, just the way you asked the question, DJ Moore and Deontay Johnson are your wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 in this pick. They're both, DJ Moore is the top 10 play this week, so fine there. Yep. The issue is the flex. Are you going with Keenan Allen or are you going with Michael Pittman? I'm a little bit worried about Keenan because I do think that Belichick is going to try to take him away, and he did not fare very well at all against the Patriots last year. I'm in fact expecting a pretty big game for Mike Williams because things will be opened up for him with Keenan Allen double team, so I'm going to lean towards Pittman again.
There it is, strongest possible endorsement of Michael Pittman, and I fully agree. I like the call. Keep those social questions coming. Use the hashtag AskFFL. Now let's send it to Matt for our first fantasy face-off.
Yeah, all right. I'm here with fantasy football's greatest method actor. We're going to do a little fantasy face-off here. First up, let's start with the running back position, Tank and or Marshawn, whoever I'm speaking with right now. We thought we learned our lesson about not just going, to the bottom of the barrel, picking the goofballs, but here we've got 2 New York running backs. Why don't you tell us, as a former running back yourself, potentially, why you like Devontae Booker more?
Like, little bruh, I'm still tripping that Derrick Henry only had 86 yards versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought for sure he was going to give him 2 buck shots to the chest, pow, pow, on the way to 150, my dude. I'm telling you, but hey, Booker, dog. My man with the ginger hair and the ginger fist, I already told you about that matchup against Kansas City, right, dog? And so you telling me that you'd rather start a dude that's going to be playing against them Bengals? That's been balling out? Dog, you don't want that smoke in your life, dog. Take the easy matchup, dog. Take the layup, dog. Because, hey, we got that boy Danny Dimes at quarterback who will at least take a little bit of heat off of me. Who Michael Carter quarterback?
Oh, I want that smoke. I want that good Mike White smoke. I want to inhale that into my lungs. That's exactly what I want.
Somebody say
Michael
smoke?
Carter. Michael Carter coming off the bye did look like he got a little promotion there. He ran a route on 60% of the dropbacks last week, got 9 targets, played a season high in snap percentage, and you mentioned the matchup with the Bengals. They've actually allowed the most catches to running backs so far, so obviously the Jets playing a negative game script, that could be a situation where we're looking at a lot of targets going to Michael Carter, give you a nice, safe floor. Who doesn't love a good, safe floor, Marshawn? That's what it's all about.
Ain't nothing safe with the Jets. Ain't nothing safe with the Jets.
Yeah, yeah, right. This is like a serious knock on wood type of situation here. But if you don't want to listen to me or you don't want to listen to Marshawn Lynch / Tank Williams, we also asked you people out there what you thought. So let's see the results from the fans on social media. They overwhelmingly agree with Tank Williams there with the Devontae Booker call. So I get it. It's the Jets stink. #NeverJets. I understand why there's a little bit of skepticism there. But, hey, don't give up on our guy, Michael Carter. All right, let's move on to the wide receiver position. We've got 2 guys pretty closely ranked. 2 guys that have been pretty buzzy this week in the fantasy football space. Marshawn, tell me why you want to start Brandon Cooks despite the fact Tyrod's still not playing.
See, now that's the thing, dog. Everybody always hit me with this late news. When I picked Brandon Cooks, I thought Ty Guy was going to come out that tunnel like Willie Beeman, you know what I'm saying? Coming to save the day, throwing them big moonball spirals before Russell was throwing the balls. But, hey, at the same time, though, don't sleep on Davis Mills. I don't fool with them. I'm a Cal guy. He a Stanford guy. But, hey, he did bring that smoke. Did somebody say smoke again? But he did bring that smoke to the Patriots. So if he can bring it to the Patriots, I think he can at least do a little something to them Rams defense, you know what I'm saying? So Houston gonna have to slang that thing, and he don't get all them targets. So, hey, that man Cook's already been cursing on social media, and they don't have nobody to run the ball since Mark Ingram gone. So, hey, he might as well go ahead and get that work.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and continue to sleep on Davis Mills and stick with the quarterback in Joe Burrow, who's been on fire. And I know I've been a little skeptical about T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, you know, the non-Jamar Chase guys so far this year, but I think we're starting to see the Bengals offense trend back to what we expected they would be this year. They're 13th right now in neutral passing rate. They ranked 26th in weeks 1 to 4. Since then, obviously, it's been on the tick up. The volume should be there. T. Higgins is averaging 9.3 targets per game, 94 air yards per game over the last 3 weeks. Like, we are starting to see him back in a legit role. I think he is right there as a locked-in wide receiver 3. He's a good player. He's not as good as Jamar Chase, not even close, but he's a pretty good player. I would start him in this matchup where the Bengals are 10-point favorites over the Dusty Jets. But we also, again, we asked you people what you thought here. Let's pull up the results. And this time they agree with me. Actually, an even bigger majority agrees with me on T. Higgins here. So, Tank, it looks like we're 1 for 1 if we trust these, quote, fans out there to be, quote, accurate with their votes. How do you feel about that?
That neutral pass rate ain't nothing but some neutral pass hate. Y'all hating on my man Cooks, y'all hating on Stanford, but it's all good though. Pac-12 gonna ride out, you know what I'm saying? Hey, go ahead and pull me up another one, Eli.
All right, well, as Tank gets a little refresher there, it's just so much. We're going to take another break. I need to take another break because Tank is cracking me up over here on Fantasy Football Live. When we come back, we'll check in on what's trending and we'll do a little player prop action. Don't go too far away.
B, I want the real, B.
I feel like I'm a starter. Everybody feel like I'm a starter. If you don't know me, feel free to judge.
People always ask, will Kevin Love go back to Portland?
If I was wearing a Portland jersey, I mean, that's special. That's playing at home.
Did you talk to LeBron?
We never really talked about those battles. We moved forward from that.
There's some lines that even ambassadors shouldn't cross.
And then there's the load management.
How you feel about that, Dr. J?
I'm Hannah Kaiser, and this is The Bandwagon. The best way to watch baseball is with an unnecessarily masochistic level of emotional investment. Check out these dance moves. Ohtani unleashed. Aliens fan. I don't know if they're watching. Huge fan. It was a socially distanced first pitch. He looks like a female superhero. This week on Humble Proposal, Jason Benetti, Jeff Passan, Shane Bieber. Every morning I wake up and I look at the standings and I'm like, who's out of the running? Nobody. Only the Pirates.
When I'm decorating a space, I'm constantly shopping, even on Yahoo Mail.
Oh, it's so perfect.
Finding the right piece really brings it all together.
Watch free live football. The NFL is on your phone all season long. Watch the NFL live on the Yahoo Sports mobile app.
And we're back here on Fantasy Football Live. And while you were sneaking a fun-sized Snickers, we were looking at the social chatter. Here are some players trending this morning. Kenneth Gainwell, Kadarius Toney, Chase Claypool, and Emmanuel Sanders. Andy, let's start with Kenneth Gainwell because we got quite a few questions about him in Make Your Pick a little bit earlier, and both you and I veered away from him. I'm expecting the reason you are not as high on him as I am, or that we are both not quite as high on him, is because of the involvement. Boston Scott, Jordan Howard, this doesn't seem like a foregone conclusion that he owns the backfield, no?
Yeah, that's just the thing. There's at least a risk that Boston Scott steps into almost exactly Miles Sanders' role. Like, that's totally out there as a possibility. It is a great matchup against Detroit, so it's not like I don't think he's startable. We were just picking guys ahead of him who clearly have full workloads or something close to it. So that's kind of my worry. I do think he's going to see a ton of targets today. That's certainly been his strong suit to this point in the season. He actually, the drive that they started off last week where they were going to ride Miles Sanders clearly for the entire game, that drive got punctuated with a Kenneth Gainwell touchdown. They love him when they get inside, the 10, 15-yard line. He's a great receiver. I expect that to continue, but I just don't think he's in line for 15 or 16 touches, so that's my worry.
Marshawn Tank, I have a question for you about Kadarius Toney. Now, he did re-injure his ankle, but he's traveling to Arrowhead with the team. Are you worried at all about the distraction of having a rap career as well as trying to grow into the NFL?
Hell no, I ain't worried about, being distracted. You know what I'm saying? There's enough distractions out there in the world, you know what I'm saying? There's distractions at the club. There's distractions when you go into Kansas City and you got to run across all that barbecue before you go to the stadium. I mean, barbecue is a hell of a drug. I mean, that thing can slow you down real quick, especially when you're rolling with that limp pimp, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if I'm Kadarius Toney and I'm suited and booted and I'm going to get some Kansas City Chiefs, if I'm healthy enough to play, I'm definitely gonna ball in that matchup because there's a bunch of fantasy goodness out there. But on the real though, let's stop talking about Toney like little avocado. Have you ever been to Subway? I got some little bowls at Subway right there. Go real good with that little avocado that you sporting today. You may need to holler at your boy Beast Mode on the side. You know what I'm saying? Let me get you in my little Marshawn bowl. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, all right. I don't think anyone can make me blush like Marshawn, by the way. All right, it's time to get back into the sports book. Minty and Matt, whoo, this avocado's getting warm, are checking in on some player props over there. Guys.
All right, let's dive into some of these player props this week. Minty, hit me with your first one. Oh, I see it. This actually hits a little close to home for me.
Yes, part of your team here. I'm going with Jimmy G under 28.5 pass attempts. Now, he's attempted to throw over this total in only 2 games this season, and he's going up against a Bears defense who's allowing the 8th fewest passing yards per game. So I'm expecting Jimmy G to turn to the ground game here if he wants to keep things close. So under is a great number here, as I think it's set way too high at 28.5.
Yeah, even if the man that I'm channeling here with my costume still believes in old Jimmy G, my real self, Matt Harmon, my inner self, I do not believe in Jimmy G. So I'm with you on this one here. All right, my next one is James Robinson. Give me the over on his total yards here, rushing plus receiving at 99.5 at -110. I mean, I talked about this on the Sportsbook show last week that Seattle is just getting crushed both in the air and on the ground by opposing running backs. Right now, they're allowing 182 total yards per game to running backs. And James Robinson, he suddenly looks like just the workhorse that he was last year. He's averaging an 83% snap rate the last 3 weeks. He's averaging 19 touches per game the last 3 games. So, this guy is a survivor. He's basically just right back to the workload that we saw last year. Lock him in for over this total, even if it is aggressively high.
It is aggressively high. However, against this poor Seattle defense, I think anything is possible, even if you're on the Jags. My next player prop is going to be on Joey Bosa. His tackles and assists combined is set at only 2.5. Now, Joey Bosa recorded a combination of 3 in all but 1 game this season. Joey B, the other Joey B, Joey Bosa, is a beast. So give me the over. All he needs is 2 tackles, 1 assist, and he's there.
Yeah, I like this call a lot. Look, the Patriots are probably going to be trying to establish the run a lot against this very bad Chargers run defense. If they're going to, the Chargers are going to successfully stop that ground attack, Joey Bosa is going to have himself a big game there. So I like that call a lot. My last one is Chris Godwin over 5.5 catches at -145. Look, we are all anticipating this Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore shadow showdown there in this game. Well, the guy who should be opened up because of that is Chris Godwin. The Saints are actually allowed the 4th most targets to slot receivers so far this year. I think Lattimore is having a great year overall. That's driving teams to focus more on their interior receivers. Godwin has cleared this total in 2 of his last 3 games. I think he is in line for a huge game in a contest that I really can't wait to watch here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, he's exceeded this number in most of his games this season, and he's the favorite target for Tom Brady, especially, like you mentioned, Marshawn Lattimore is going to be all over Mike Evans, which leaves Chris Godwin open up.
I'm always excited when Chris Godwin's in line for a big game. I'm also very excited for Yahoo Sportsbook Live, which is going to be back again this week at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. right here on Yahoo Sports. Make sure you send your questions to @Yahoo Sportsbook and @Yahoo Fantasy. We're going to be talking about the games that are happening right now. Well, right now, not right now, but right now then. You know, the live lines, the bets that we're going to be making in the middle of those games. We're also going to preview the later games, and I'll be giving you my player props, which have been on fire so far this year, even though I'm very nervous about a couple injury-ridden games. Make sure you tune in here later.
All right, over under number 2, and of course we're going to the Sunday night game. I am joined by Lil Avocado, I'm never going to call you anything else, and Marshawn for this one. Let's talk about Kirk Cousins, and I'll get us started with this one. We're going to set the number at 24.9 fantasy points. That's a lot. This to me is just a classic Kirk trap of a game. It's a prime timer. Everybody watching should be really fun. Should be a lot of points here, especially if Dak Prescott is actually able to play in this one. But when we think about 24.9 fantasy points, man, Kirk could have a good game. 300 yards, couple of touchdown passes, and he still doesn't quite get there. This is a huge number. We know that Diggs is going to get his 1, maybe 2 interceptions in this one. So I just don't think Kirk quite gets there. I think it's a good start this week, but this number is just a bit too aggressive. Lil Avocado, what do you think?
I mean, I think you took all of my talking points here. Do I think Kirk Cousins can manage 300 yards and 3 touchdowns? Sure, but more than that, without a Diggs touchdown? No, not against this number 10 ranked pass defense that Dallas has cobbled together and surprised everyone with. Also, worth mentioning, Kirk Cousins has only managed to go over this line 3 times. Russell Wilson in week 3, Kyler in week 2, and then overtime at Carolina in week 6. I cannot bet that there's going to be an extra quarter to help Kirk Cousins amass more points for everybody. And also, if Dak Prescott isn't in, I'm not sure there's enough back and forth to make that happen anyway, so I'll take the under.
Beast Mode, I'm going to give you another chance to make it a sweep.
Oh, God.
Man, the Henny just spoke to me, little bruh. I got to go with the over, man. Hey, the Henny told me that Dak ain't flying all the way up there to Minnesota to go make some damn snowballs, you know what I'm talking about? We out there to try to win the game. And I already told you in the last segment, what's the blueprint to beating Dallas? Throwing them tubs. Now, Captain Kirk, Spock, and the little man Yeoman Johnson, you know Yeoman Johnson, when he get beamed up, he gonna be the one that get killed, because you know Spock coming back. You know I'm coming back. Yeoman Johnson, not so much. So, the Dallas team is Yeoman Johnson. Adam Thielen with 2 tubs this week. It's Spock. Remember that.
That's some insight right there. Who am I? Who am I to argue with the Henny? I'm not going to do it. You make some good points. Let's now, well, there's going to be one more over-under later in the show. Let's now send it to Matt Harmon, and let's check the chat.
Yes, listen, if you've got some questions out there, Facebook, YouTube, I have the chat room up right now. I know there is there's been a lot of Dak questions, Andy. Since you used to be Dak Prescott's backup quarterback, why don't we just talk about this real quick? Like, do you expect Dak Prescott to play tonight? And if he doesn't, how is that changing, you know, guys like CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, the worst thing about this is that we've actually read like conflicting spins from beat writers around the team, right? Like there's some people who seem really pessimistic about the possibility that he'll start in this one, and there's others who are like, yeah, we think he's going to go. He is traveling with the team, which I take as a good sign. Right. I'm still going to be surprised if he doesn't play in this one. Although I did kind of hedge in my ranks, you know, I dragged him down to sort of the middle of the quarterbacks, and I at least tacked on Cooper Rush there at the end. I mean, it's bad if Cooper Rush ends up having to play in this thing. And I dragged down Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb as well. It's unfortunate, but I have them right around wide receiver 20 right now. I'm still relatively optimistic that Dak is going to play, but listen, if you've got him, say, in a super flex roster, I do. I added Cooper Rush just to be safe.
Yeah, it legit sounds like a true, real, actual game time decision. You know, that tag gets thrown around a lot. It really sounds like they're going to take this up to the last minute. The pregame warm-up is really going to matter. I would, if you have Dak, I would make sure you have an alternative. And like you said, either way, I'd probably just push my expectations down for Cooper and Lamb and just kind of expect them to maybe come, you know, a little under what they're usually doing. But that's kind of our thoughts there. I know a lot of people are out there asking about this. Let's ask a question on this one here, Andy. Kenton from Facebook. I really like these guys are all kind of bunched together, and I like them all this week. Pick two among these wide receivers: T. Higgins, Chase Claypool, or Jerry Judy. Which of the one are you leaving out here?
Oh man, it's tough to leave one of these guys out. I mean, T. Higgins is coming off what? 15 targets, right? Gets the Jets. I don't know how you can sit him. Joe Burrow has thrown multiple touchdown passes in every game, so he's a clear start for me. And I'm gonna start Chase Claypool as well. He's also been a guy seeing a ton of targets. Now he's coming off a terrible game. He had a horrible game before the bye. I'm not going to dispute that, but listen, Claypool is going to see 8-9 targets in this thing. Again, there's no Juju Smith-Schuster. Could even be a low-scoring game, but I think there's a great opportunity for him to pile up yardage in that one. I hate to sit Judy, but it's probably going to happen in his comeback from IR.
Yeah, I think if you have viable alternatives, I'd always prefer to wait a week on an injured guy, and I think Higgins is a great pick. And I also think Claypool, like, he got the role promotion, a year-high snap in 12 personnel last week, or last time we saw the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I would give Chase Claypool the bump there over Jerry Judy ever so slightly. All right, Kion, I think that's how you say it, on YouTube, asks this one. This is the last one we're going to take. Because you sent in the good ghost emoji, the zombie emojis, and you said you're spooked about your choice at flex here, Marvin Jones or Kadarius Toney. You know, it's funny, Andy, like DJ Chark goes down, and then Marvin Jones kind of stops producing as much. It was a little bit of not what we expected there. Can Marvin Jones get back on track here, or are you willing to wait it out for Kadarius Toney, who is also kind of a game time decision, but probably on the more positive side than a guy like Dak right now?
Yeah, I got to say, first of all, that's how you get noticed in chat. Really well played. Hit us with a spooky. That's great. I think I'm going to start Kadarius Toney here. I just don't like tying myself to the Jacksonville offense. I'm super bullish on the Giants this week. Toney, by the way, is still available in something like 45% of Yahoo leagues. I mean, he's somebody that I thought really needed to get scooped up last week during the waiver run. Go at him if you possibly can. That guy looks like an absolute star, and he gets the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I mean, it's just up and down the field against Kansas City all year. So I think Toney's probably the ceiling play here, which is weird to say in a question that also involves Marvin Jones, right, who for his entire career has been a ceiling play.
Yeah, maybe it's the Kyle Shanahan in me right now. I am going to take the coward's way out. I am going to go on with Marvin Jones here in a really good matchup against a bad Seattle secondary. And Trevor Lawrence looks really good, man. I think just forget about what you saw the first 3 weeks. Focus on what you've been seeing lately. And I think this Jaguars passing offense and obviously James Robinson in the backfield is all worth investing in right now, despite the whole Urban Meyer thing, which is never comfortable to talk about. All right, we got to step aside here on Fantasy Football Live. When we come back, we're going to stick on that Monday night game. We're going to talk about the Chiefs' backfield. Oh, what a fun subject, the Chiefs' backfield. And we will do our last over-under there on that subject. Don't go away.
B, I want the real, B.
I feel like I'm a starter. Everybody feel like I'm a starter. If you don't know me, feel free to judge.
People always ask, will Kevin Love go back to Portland?
If I was wearing a Portland jersey, I mean, that's special. That's playing at home.
Did you talk to LeBron?
We never really talked about those battles. We moved forward from that.
There's some lines that even ambassadors shouldn't cross.
And then there's the load management.
How you feel about that, Dr. J?
I'm Hannah Kaiser, and this is The Bandwagon.
Yeah,
The best way to watch baseball is with an unnecessarily masochistic level of emotional investment. Check out these dance moves. Ohtani Unleashed.
Yeah.
Aliens, fan. I don't know if they're watching. Huge fan. It was a socially distanced first pitch. He looks like a female superhero. This week on Humble Proposal, Jason Benetti, Jeff Passan, Shane Bieber. Every morning I wake up and I look at the standings and I'm like, who's out of the running? Nobody. Only the Pirates.
When I'm decorating a space, I'm constantly shopping, even on Yahoo Mail.
Oh, it's so perfect.
Finding the right piece really brings it all together.
Watch free live football. The NFL is on your phone all season long. Watch the NFL live on the Yahoo Sports mobile.
All right, let's jump into our final over-under here. It is on Darrell Williams, the Chiefs running back. Oh, man, we're going to get so much talk about the Chiefs offense, and are we so worried about a Patrick Mahomes unit? It's going to be such a treat heading into this Monday night game, but we're going to set the line here for Darrell Williams at 84.5 total yards, and give me the over on this one. Last week, take that and just kind of toss it out of your mind. Okay, that was a fluky situation where they fell behind the Tennessee Titans. Darrell Williams doesn't get work because they're in negative game script all day long. I do not think that is going to happen against the New York Giants on Monday night. I think this is kind of a get-right game for the Chiefs offense, at least. The defense, there ain't no hope for that, all right? That's not going to get right, but I think the offense can get right here. You know, the Giants are 22nd ranked against run in defensive DVOA right now, so give me Darrell Williams in a really nice bounce-back spot here. Minty, I can see it on your face. You're totally going to disagree with me on this.
Of course. I have to go with the scary pick that no one wants to pick here. Although the Giants are one of the worst teams against the run, I feel like they step it up here this week. And we know Patrick Mahomes loves to air the ball out to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce the most, so I don't think Darrell Williams gets that many touches, so I got to go under.
Yeah, there was no trick in that surprise, and it definitely was not a treat there that you gave me, Minty, and that is a bummer. Liz, how do you feel about this one?
So I think you're both making interesting points, but what I think is not being mentioned is the fact that Darrell Williams has drawn 4 targets in back-to-back games. He's also running over 20 routes per game. So even if game script doesn't go the way that Vegas is intimating it will, as the past few weeks have unfolded, right? And we've all been, quote, surprised, and it's fluky, and Patrick Mahomes is pressing and things turn upside down. Well, Darrell Williams is still involved. He's still involved in the passing game, and we've heard time and time again all over sports talk radio that the Chiefs can't find their number 3 option. Well, maybe it's their damn running back. Maybe he's the check down option in this behind this offensive line that has been reworked to no benefit. So I am going to take the over. I don't think this is a hard line for him to pass because it's total scrimmage yards.
Yeah, we shall see. You can get it done through the ground. You can get it done through the air. It doesn't really matter here for Darrell Williams. I think he gets there in some way. All right, let's toss it. I'm sure this is going to be a treat. Let's toss it over to Marshawn Lynch for Ballers on a Budget here. This should be a scene.
Hey, yo, what it do, pimpin'? It's your boy Beast Mode coming at you with T-Money's Week 8 Ballers on the Budget. You heard? So first off, we're going to start off with my man Matt Ryan again, you know what I'm saying? I'm already still a little salty that they're going to tell me that Calvin Ridley ain't playing about 2 minutes before I put in my little segment, you know what I'm talking about? But it's all good, though. We still got that boy Corduroy Patterson in the joint. You hear me? We still got that boy Kyle Pitts dunking on fools, you feel me? Sam Darnold been seeing ghosts since last year, and it wasn't even Halloween, so what you think he going to do in that? Hey, today. Man, my boy Matt Ryan gonna ball out. Hey, that dude Mike Davis might even get them 50 carries that little dude with the little short hair and all that been talking about for a while, you know what I'm saying? Now let's go ahead and move on to that running back. Khalil Herbert, that boy Jonathan Taylor got that Ben Franklin versus San Francisco last week, you feel me? Huh? And this dude Herbert balled out against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, y'all. Little homie gonna give you something for the $18.99. Just like this Henny's mighty fine. Boy, and if you don't like what Beast Mode giving you, look, the little ginger fist and that little creamy avocado already told you that Herbert was a great play today. Hey, shout out to guacamole with extra cilantro. Now at wide receiver, I'm going with Marquez Callaway versus Tampa Bay. $17. I thought Lil Bro was gonna give my Seahawks all that smoke last week. He didn't do it. Appreciate you, young bruh. Hey, but you don't have to come with that work if you and James gonna do something against Tommy Boy in Tampa Bay, cause you know Brady coming in slanging that thing today, little bruh. Hey, this may be James pop-off game. You know what I'm talking about? 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But I bet 2 of them go to Callaway there, and I'm still in the money. $17. Tell them Beast Mode sent you. You heard? Now, tight end. Kyle Pitts, $21. You know this dude is the most expensive tight end on the menu today? And you know Marshawn loves some menus, especially when I'm ordering out my Uber Eats. Send me that check. He out there dunking on fools, putting ding-ding songs everywhere, you know what I'm saying? I said that on late night. The FCC didn't say nothing when I said it on late night, so I can say it on FFL. Boy, this dude got 100 yards in a row, and y'all still got him priced at $21. I think they may need to check y'all blood to see if y'all been smoking something. Because we already know beast mode been. Now make sure you get these dudes in your lineup, because as my man T Money say, that green and that T is for the money. And that money is something that you won't have if you don't have that Henny in your glass and these dudes in your lineup. Now, producer Dan, go ahead and show them standings. I don't even know why I just keep standing in the middle. I mean, I feel like I'm always in the middle. That little creamy avocado always in first. Gingerfish right there. Even though they came in last, that dude right there that don't know how to throw the ball to the dude that I don't know how to say his name anymore, he actually came in first last week. And Minty balled out, came in second. I came in third, just like I'm always sitting in third. But, you know, everybody, we still clumped up right here. We still doing things. I'm gonna go ahead and sip my Henny and let that little creamy avocado do what she do, girl. You really need to get in my Marshawn bowl right now. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I tell you, I need another drink.
Everybody, swirl that Henny and then get in on the action in Daily Fantasy this morning. You can do it on Yahoo. Our big $1 million Halloween Baller contest is opening. You can win cash prizes. First place takes home $100,000 plus an entry into the first ever Yahoo Fantasy Football Championship Live Finals. Visit the Daily Fantasy Football lobby and join in on the fun.
Jennifer Akins, thank you for being with us on the Week 8 edition of Fantasy Football Live's Community Corner. We are so excited to join you. For those people who don't know, Jen is a senior writer and editor for 4for4, and as of this season, she is also a contributor here at Yahoo Fantasy.
Yep. I'm super excited. Liz and I chat all the time, but we've never officially done this, so it's exciting.
Jen, something that you are passionate about is being pro kicker. And the reason that you've given is because you believe that hitting on the right kicker can lead fantasy managers to earning sneaky points. Can you talk about your kicker process, if you will, and any guys that you think might be a boon to managers in Week 8?
Absolutely. I think, a lot of people are anti-kicker, as you know. But like if you do it right and you actually play the matchups, you can get like a 10-point swing and people just ignore it and blow it off and they'll just roll out the same kicker every week. What I found super easy for all of you out there, you look for high team implied totals, right? If a team's going to score a lot of points, the kicker is going to be involved, right? So you look for high team implied totals. You look for guys that are on teams that are favored. And then you also, I like home kickers. It's not a necessity. It's kind of the third on my list of things that I look for. But those are really the three things. It's pretty basic. So, for example, this week for Week 8, we've got Dustin Hopkins, who is now the new kicker he's the new kicker for the Chargers. For those of you that are not in the know, they signed him this week. So the Chargers are this week, they're favored by 6 points and they're projected to score 27. So you're going to get some kicker points in there. Another guy that's good this week is going to be Evan Mcpherson for the Bengals. They're projected to score 26.75 and they're 8.5-point favorites. So those are kind of two guys that you should look for if you haven't already picked up your kicker for the week.
So gaining sneaky points is great, but when you want to subtract something, we also come to you because you write a weekly dead weight report for us at Yahoo Fantasy. Can you tell us about it? And maybe while you're at it, mention someone you wish you were perhaps a bit more patient with at the top of the season.
So one guy this season that I jump the gun a little bit is one Kyle Pitts. I wrote him up in my Week 5 dead weight report. And then, of course, he literally blew up the week after. I did kind of recommend to drop him, and it is one that I think I jumped the gun a little bit on. But, it is what it is. And there's a couple guys that this week I put on my kind of watch list.
Yes, let's hear about those guys.
And I think one of them is Allen Robinson. What I put in this article this week was, let's wait till the November 2nd trade deadline. Like, if he's not gone from Chicago, then he's droppable. But don't drop him yet because he may end up somewhere great. Like, what if he ends up in Green Bay, or what if he ends up somewhere that really needs a receiver with a better quarterback, better situation? So he was kind of one of those. I also threw on there Julio Jones and Odell Beckham. Both of them are hurt. Both of them have struggled. They're kind of a one more week guy.
You make a good point about the trade deadline coming up and why you would want to hold on to guys that are really talented or have been in the past, but might not be in prime situations or might not be 100% healthy.
Right, exactly. I think, a lot of people are frustrated with Allen Robinson, and I totally get it. And every, hashtag free Allen Robinson, free A-Rob, whatever. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know if it will, but, I feel like if he doesn't and he still remains a Bear, I think it might be a lost cause this season.
Well, we have mentioned quite a few hashtags during this back and forth, and the one that I am most interested in establishing is hashtag follow Jennifer Akins on Twitter. And you can do that, in fact, at the Monday Mommy. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here. We really appreciate all of your insight, and I'm very interested in getting some extra points by utilizing the kicker position in my rosters more frequently.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure to be here, as always, with you, Liz. And yeah, thanks.
Let's check back to Twitter for some more viewer questions at the hashtag AskFFL. This first one is for Citizen of the Week. Jarvis Landry with OBJ active or Cole Beasley with Dawson Knox out in full point PPR. Matt, which of these two players are you taking?
Yeah, give me Cole Beasley here. Just more passing volume likely to go around in that offense. Landry a little dinged up last time we saw him as well. So give me Beasley. As you mentioned, Dawson Knox being out, like those guys kind of live in the same area of the field. Beasley is the slot guy. Dawson Knox is that inline tight end. I'm not trusting Tommy Sweeney to just get bumped up in the target projection. I think it's good news for Cole Beasley here. The Bills, like I mentioned earlier, 14-point favorite. Somebody's got to be putting up points on the board. A little bit of that trickles down to Beasley in this one.
All right, let's get to another one. This one is from Benjamin. It's a quarterback question. Andy, I'm going to send it to you. Teddy Bridgewater or Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, man, I like them both. They're both in the same range for me. It's not like I think Lawrence is a bad start in this one against Seattle. That's been a friendly matchup. But I'm going to go Teddy Bridgewater against the defense. Talked about it earlier in the show. Against the defense that has allowed the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, the most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers, like Washington. We thought good things about them coming into the season. We thought that they were loaded with talent. It has been rough. Teddy is going to now, we all know that Teddy is somewhat limited, right? He's not going to give you a ton of rushing yards. He kind of caps out at about 3 touchdown passes. But I think you're going to get one of the better Teddy days. I think it's going to be something like 280 and 3 scores. Love him this week.
All right, I like that take. Minty, this next one is for you. It's from Austin, and Austin asks, I know the Titans was your trap game. Would you still bet on the Colts giving 2.5 even though they were +1?
This one's tough because, yeah, I would still bet on the Colts as I believe they will win straight up. I think they'll win by at least 3 points. I wouldn't recommend betting them if the Colts ever get up to 3-point favorites. So, yeah, I'd still bet on the Colts, but I would be very, very cautious.
All right, Marshawn, this next question is for you, and it is coming from Ace Ventura. It's a defensive question, and your friend, Tank Williams, did play defense in the NFL, so I thought maybe you'd be best to answer it. The Washington football team at Denver or the Dallas Cowboys at Minnesota, which I believe was Mr. Williams' old stomping grounds for a minute.
It sure is hiding those rhinos. Man, I love me an Ace Ventura movie, especially when I, got a little fried chicken going and stuff too. If you're talking about defenses, would I rather have Washington against Denver or Dallas going against Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, a healthy Dalvin Cook? That man Osborne been balling out in the slot. Even though it's a really good matchup for Teddy B, I'ma still roll with Washington and that boy Chase Young coming off the edge, shaking that hair like I'm shaking it right now. And trust me, he enjoys that Henny after the game too. I love him.
All right, last question is from Anthony, and Anthony wants to know Khalil Herbert, Myles Gaskin, Robbie Anderson, or Jamison Crowder for the flex spot. Matt, Andy and I already talked up Khalil Herbert, but are you preferring maybe Myles Gaskin without Malcolm Brown in the lineup? Any of these other? I know how much you love Jamison Crowder. I mean, there's upside right there.
Yeah, no, I will not be preferring Myles Gaskin. I don't care about this whole Malcolm Brown being on IR thing. I'm still not trusting the Dolphins backfield until I see it for a couple of games. Give me Khalil Herbert. I love the way the guys run it right now. We know that the Bears are going to be conservative on offense. And, San Francisco is not a challenging matchup for running backs. We saw Jonathan Taylor bust off a bunch of big runs against them last week. That's because the 49ers are 26th in explosive rushing plays allowed so far this year. They have been giving it up to running backs like multiple big-time games on the ground. Yeah, I'm totally comfortable starting Khalil Herbert in this spot.
And we are totally comfortable taking another break here on Fantasy Football Live. But before we do, I have a question for you. Are you tired of finishing in the middle of the pack? It's kind of gross, right? So start winning with Yahoo Fantasy Plus and get the edge you need to dominate your league. Get access to exclusive tools like a research assistant, trade hub, expert rankings, and more. You can start your free 7-day trial today. Head to yahoofantasyfootball.com/plus.
B, I want the real, B.
I feel like I'm a starter. Everybody feel like I'm a starter.
If you don't know me, feel free to judge.
People always ask, will Kevin Love go back to Portland?
If I was wearing a Portland jersey, I mean, that's special. That's playing at home.
Did you talk to LeBron?
We never really talked about those battles. We moved forward from that.
There's some lines that even ambassadors shouldn't cross.
And then there's the load management.
How you feel about that, Dr. J?
I'm Hannah Kaiser, and this is The Bandwagon. The best way to watch baseball is with an unnecessarily masochistic level of emotional investment. Check out these dance moves. Ohtani unleashed. Aliens, fan. I don't know if they're watching. Huge fan. It was a socially distanced first pitch. He looks like a female superhero. This week on Humble Proposal, Jason Benetti, Jeff Passan, Shane Bieber. Every morning I wake up and I look at the standings and I'm like, who's out of the running? Nobody. Only the Pirates.
When I'm decorating a space, I'm constantly shopping, even on Yahoo Mail.
Oh, it's so perfect.
Finding the right piece really brings it all together.
Watch free live football. The NFL is on your phone all season long. Watch the NFL live on the Yahoo Sports mobile app.
And we're back here on Fantasy Football Live. We've got 8 games kicking off at the top of the hour, so let's recap the top actives and inactives this morning. Let's start with Odell Beckham. He is active today against Pittsburgh. He's planning to play through that shoulder injury. A late addition to the injury report, Calvin Ridley will not suit up for the Falcons for personal reasons. There is optimism that Bucs tight end Rob Gronkowski could return to action today against New Orleans, so keep that in mind as that is a late game. And finally, Dak Prescott, a true game time decision tonight against Minnesota. The Cowboys will make the call during pregame warm-ups. All right, Minty, it is time for you and me to debate your best bets for this week. You got to tell me what you have.
Okay, first off, we're going to the Patriots Chargers game. I'm taking the over as it's set at 49. Now, New England's rushing offense is pretty solid, and I think they should fare well against the Chargers' poor run defense here. Now, LA will be well rested and ready to score a ton. I truly only need like 2 touchdowns a quarter, maybe not even that many. So I think the over is a great bet here.
Oh, I like this. You know, last year, Bill Belichick brought his rookie curse to Justin Herbert and shut out the Chargers 45-0. But I think, as you're mentioning, time has healed many wounds and helped to improve this Charger squad, particularly the new regime, right? Mike Williams is getting moved all over the place. So even if the Patriots double team Keenan Allen, there's depth now and choices beyond Mike Williams, obviously. Also, Austin Eckler. You've got 2 big tight ends in the red area. So yes, I agree with you. I will take the over. I think the Chargers can answer whatever the Patriots put up this week.
Ooh, love it. Okay, moving on to Sunday Night Football as the Cowboys take on the Vikings. The total is set at 52.5. I'm going with the over here. Cowboys lead the league in scoring, but they're allowing their opposing teams to score 24 points a game on average. Although the Vikings aren't the best in prime time, I think they do gain a lot of yardage on offense. So I do expect them to keep up. So although the total is set a little high and Dak is still questionable, I really like the over because I'm really not wanting a snooze fest here.
Well, you know that the veil is at its thinnest and we are in the upside down when Minty is taking the over and I am taking the under. It is very difficult for me to argue against Kirk Cousins in over-under and then take the over on this one. I'm not convinced that Dak plays or at least completes all 4 quarters. Both of these defenses are better against the pass than they are the run. I think it's going to be a run-heavy game, and so I will take the under.
Liz, I don't like when we disagree, but let's move on to Monday night and see if maybe we can agree on this one. My bet for Monday Night Football is a little bit risky. I'm taking the Giants first half on the money line as they're plus 200. Now, I know the Giants receiving core is very slim and their best running back is out, but Danny Dimes can move those chains himself if he really wanted to. I mean, the Chiefs' downfalls are turnovers and defense, and they do like to play catch up, so it's not crazy that I think the Giants will lead the first half at least.
Ooh, Minty, I love that you're like trying to play this like, oh, I'm all frisky today. It's Halloween, trick or treat. No, girl, you have been the best anti-Chiefs bettor all season long. And by the way, it's been working out for you. The rest of us are like, oh no, I think it's a fluke. Those turnovers will fix themselves. The offensive line is great. Just give the defense a minute. Nah, you're totally right. I cannot veer away from you and your feels for the Chiefs. So I too will take the Giants to cover.
Ooh, love it. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing with me, Liz.
You are welcome, my friend. There is still time to adjust those lineups for all of you watching, so let's find out who's going to be off their game this week. Matt, who do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of good vibes and agreeing in that segment. Let's bring the mood down here with some negativity. Let's talk about some players that are over 50% started across Yahoo leagues. That could be a big-time disappointment, big-time off their game players here. And, you know, Andy Dalton, you've been off your game for quite a few years now. Why don't you lead us off in this segment?
It's a fair point. If anybody knows how to be off their game, it should be Andy Dalton. I'm going to go with Mike Evans in this one. And listen, he's having another great year. He's coming off a multi-touchdown game. He's fantastic. I'm just here to make you feel a little bit bad about him this week because it's Marshawn Lattimore and the Saints. And that has been a brutal matchup for him historically. He has 100-yard effort against Lattimore. That was way back in 2018. Lattimore has been fantastic all season long. The Saints have only allowed 100-yard performance by a receiver so far this year. It's just a really rough spot. You look back historically, Evans has multiple single-digit yardage performances against Lattimore and the Saints. So just really don't like him here. If you're starting him, you can hope for a touchdown, but I wouldn't hope for a significant yardage or reception total.
I think I completely agree with you on that one. Marshawn. Let me tell you what, the guy you're about to talk about, if you drafted him like I did, you need a lot of what you're sipping on over there, buddy. So why don't you tell us about old Antonio Gibson here?
Yeah, bro, I feel you, little bro. Hey, man, folks have been all in their feelings talking about this dude, man. This cat got fumbling issues. This dude got shin issues. This dude got J.D. McKissick issues. Like, I know this man, Dearness Johnson, like, stumped the mud hole in the Broncos, but, man, this dude Antonio ain't getting down like that, man. This dude scored 3 points against the Chiefs and 6 points against Green Bay. Like, dog, I feel like I done damn near scored that many points, and all I've been doing is sipping on this Henny and trying to get Peyton and Eli kicked off national TV. Like, I really don't know what y'all expect from dude going in. I mean, he should be that dog, but hey, it ain't really getting down like that. His game about to be uglier than Wanda on the Living Color. You remember what I'm talking about?
I mean, I'll tell you what, you might be the healthier of the two running backs right now. You might be ready to suit up. All right, I'll talk about someone here, another running back, Elijah Mitchell. There's been some positive words about him so far this show. I will bring the negativity here. You know, the passing game is really the troubling part for Elijah Mitchell. He's run 15 and 16 routes over his last 2 games with just 2 targets. You're really banking on only the ground game work for Elijah Mitchell, and he is the guy there. You know, it's not happening with old Trey Sermon. That's my fault here. Trey Sermon is in the black book. So, yeah, we're not going to be seeing him. We're going to be seeing a lot of Elijah Mitchell running on the ground. But this is a tough matchup. The Bears are 5th in terms of schedule-adjusted fantasy points allowed to the running back position, and they're getting Akeem Hicks back in this matchup. I know there's no Khalil Mack, but that should be a pretty troubling presence for our guy Elijah Mitchell there. I would temper my expectations for the 49ers.
Hey, Shanahan.
In this spot.
Shanahan,
yes.
How come you didn't say that dude? Like, Tank told me there's this dude you like to talk about, but he can't say his name, but he said that
No. All right, enough. Hey, Tank, we're going to hear about him in the next segment plenty of times, because what we've got coming up next is the Fantasy Football Survival Kit episode where the people tell me what I got wrong. I guarantee you that name will be said in the next segment.
Oh, word up, little bruh. Hey, shout out to Skittles again. Send that check.
It's my turn to face the music because we asked you people, the people, my people, what is the thing I got most wrong this year? Where did I most lead you astray? Let's get right into it because there's kind of a lot of things to talk about here. First up, Allen Robinson. And yes, does this gift not just perfectly show exactly what the problem is here with Allen Robinson? I mean, going into the year, I said this is a guy who we know is a stud and has succeeded with the goofballs of all goofballs at quarterback and caught 200 passes the last 2 years. How could he not reach new heights with a cool young prospect like Justin Fields? Well, if you have him on your fantasy teams, and I've got him on so many teams, you know that he's not just not reaching new heights, he's not even coming close to what he used to be doing. It is a total and complete nightmare in Chicago. And you know what? It's not Allen Robinson's fault. It's not even the Bears' fault. You know whose fault it is? It's the damn un-American franchise tag. I mean, Allen Robinson wanted to go to a new team. He wanted to move on, and the Bears could keep him because the stupid franchise tag exists. So it's not your fault. It's definitely not my fault. It's not even the Bears' fault. It's not Allen Robinson's fault. It's the franchise tag's fault. They spent all offseason basically saying the key to unlocking fantasy football in 2021 is figuring out the 49ers offense. Well, what you should have figured out is that you should have just taken the key, kept that door locked, and thrown the key into the ocean and never thought about it again. Leave that box alone for the rest of the year. I mean, give me a break with this 49ers team. Everything I thought about the team this offseason was wrong. I thought Kyle Shanahan might want to play Trey Lance, who he traded all these draft picks for, and not just use him as like a glorified running back. Well, no, he's not practicing well enough. We got to keep Jimmy G out there lowering the ceiling of the entire operation. Trey Sermon, remember that guy? Remember when he was running with the starters in preseason? I barely remember because I haven't seen him play in weeks. I mean, this whole Elijah Mitchell thing came out of absolutely nowhere. This 49ers team, I'm not sorry for the analysis I gave in the offseason because, look, there was no way to see this whole thing coming. But what I am sorry for is wasting your time, wasting my producer's time, wasting everyone's time with our precious Earth seconds talking about this team. Next up, we've got Tyler Lockett. And you know what? I will not take the L on Tyler Lockett because, number one, did not say he was going to be a wide receiver 1. I think I had him ranked at wide receiver 14, definitely ahead of consensus. And it was looking great there for 2 weeks. And, you know, for the most part, I still believe that this whole Tyler Lockett is inconsistent thing is mostly a coincidence. He was great the first 2 weeks. Then he had a little bit of an injury flare-up. Then he had that frustrating game where there was all the pass interferences just taking off his fantasy points left and right. That was irritating for sure. And then Russell Wilson gets hurt, man. Like, I didn't think damn Tyler Lockett was going to be playing with Geno Smith. Like, it ain't going to happen with Geno Smith. Geno Smith in this offense with Pete Carroll still trying to play like 1980s football, coaching like he's still got a good defense. It's not going to happen. So do I feel bad about my analysis on Tyler Lockett? No. Do I feel bad that he's on all of my teams? Yes, because if I tell you to draft somebody, I draft them too. So if they're frustrating you, you know they're frustrating me.
We are just moments away from kickoff, so let's get to as many social media questions as we can, and let's start with this one from Justin. Justin has a running back question, half-point PPR. Matt, Myles Gaskin, who you love so much, or Antonio Gibson, whose shin is a little problematic?
Yeah, God, I can't believe Antonio Gibson didn't get brought up in that last segment talking about the things I'm wrong about. I really thought I was doing something with that Antonio Gibson round 2, Allen Robinson round 3 turn. Turns out the only thing I was doing was screwing up the rest of my fantasy season. Anyways, on this particular question, I'm going to go back to the well on Antonio Gibson because apparently I just can't learn from my mistakes. But, Dearness Johnson ran all over this team. Like the Broncos, we expected them to be this great defense. They're average at best because all of their guys are hurt. This has been a defense that doesn't move the needle at all. I think Antonio Gibson can get going. He's still been getting work. Like, he's still a top 20 running back in fantasy despite where you drafted him way too high. So, again, I just do not want to trust the Dolphins' backfield. I do not want to trust them in a tough matchup against the Bills. So, give me Antonio Gibson. Whatever.
All right, Marshawn Williams, I got a running back question for you. It's from Derek. And Derek asked if he should start in PPR Devontae Booker, no Saquon Barkley today, obviously, or Melvin Gordon.
Man, I like to rock with the dudes that rock these locks like your boy, but man, I can't let that get in the way of a good pick, so I'm rolling with that cat. Devontae Booker, I already talked about him earlier. They already flew into KC, got some of that good barbecue. Kansas City defense ain't been able to stop nothing all year, you know what I'm talking about? So Devontae Booker gonna ball. Yeah.
Okay, Minty, I hope you're listening because this next question is from Jared. Oh, look, Quay. Just trying to get into your mentions here. Bengals giving 11 over the Jets has to be a lock. Are you on the Bengals today? Minty, what day are you not on the Bengals? Oh my God, does the tiger emoji still work on your phone, or have you used it up too much? Is there indentation on that one?
Yeah, it's a little burnt out here, but today is actually the day I am not betting the Bengals. Although a lot of the sharp bettors are on the Bengals today, I tend to stay away from double-digit spreads. I don't see a scenario where I believe the Jets will take the lead, and that will allow me to live bet the Bengals for a better spread or better payout. So today, I am not betting the Bengals, but I am rooting for them.
Ginger Fist, question from Maxim. Fitting, because two of these players you helped ruin. Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, or Cole Beasley. I mean, shoot, jabs, punches, all of it in this question.
Yeah, I've already finished off the first two players. I've already wrecked their season, so let's try to wreck Cole Beasley's season as well. I would definitely go Cole Beasley here. And we talked about him earlier. I mean, it's a matchup with Miami. Buffalo can just basically pick their number, I think, in this one. They're going to get up early, and Beasley is surely going to be a big part of that. Matt mentioned it. Excuse me, Kyle Shanahan mentioned it. No Dawson Knox this week, so they do kind of operate in the same area of the field. So I think that tilts toward Beasley as well.
And I can't not go to Marshawn when a question is coming from a human named Juice. So tell me, Marshawn, in half-point PPR, T. Higgins, Kenny Gainwell, or the man, Myles Gaskin, no S, just Gaskin.
Man, come on now. How y'all gonna put Myles Gaskins and Gainwell in there with my man? Gee, come on, man. Like, are y'all trying to prank Beast Mode? That's what y'all trying to do? That's why y'all sticking this damn camera in my face? Y'all trying to, that's, all right, yeah. Man, y'all better get on. T. Higgins, come on. Hey, time it. Y'all got 3 minutes to get them, 3 minutes. And then Beast Mode out of here, 3 minutes. Y'all know why I'm here.
Okay, Matt. I know how much you like peach season. Ricky Seals-Jones or Jared Cook? Jeff is wondering.
Yeah, let's stick with the Washington football team. I'm going to go with Ricky Seals-Jones here. The role has been great. The targets have been great overall. So give me Ricky Seals-Jones. Nothing like tying yourself to a Taylor Heineke offense over a Justin Herbert offense. Yeah, give me Ricky Seals-Jones. Like Marshawn said, they got 3 minutes. You better hurry up and make this lineup decision.
All right, this next one is in half PPR. It's from Dylan, Andy Behrens-Dalton. I would like to know if you would choose Cortland Sutton, Devonta Smith, who, by the way, is a regular of yours, or Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, man, I like all these options. Sanders, of course, has been an air yards king all season. He's been great, but I got to go Cortland Sutton here for reasons that we've discussed throughout the show. I mean, he's facing Washington. Washington allows the most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Sutton is absolutely going to go off in this game.
Okay, this last one, I got to close with Marshawn. It is from Cregasis. He needs 2 of these in half-point PPR. That boy, Khalil Herbert, Devonta Booker, who I know you like, or let's throw a wide receiver into the mix, T. Higgins, coming off of a 15-target game last week.
Man, you know Money Lynch gonna do you right, so I'm running with both of those running backs. Both running backs. One shot for one running back, one shot for the other running back, even though I got T. Higgins in my lineup. But that's how we gonna do it. Cheers, everybody. Happy Halloween. Tell them Marshawn and the Henny sent you. Make sure y'all send my checks to beastmode.com. We'll see y'all next week.
Pure perfection. That is going to do it for this wild edition of Fantasy Football Live. Thanks for kicking off your Sunday with us. But this conversation does not stop here. Oh no, Matt and Minty will be back at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Yahoo Sportsbook Live. And wait, the NFL trade deadline is Tuesday. So keep up with all of the latest on our podcast, the Fantasy Football Forecast. There's more wager talk on Mad Bets. That's our daily betting show. And we'll be back here, of course, next Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Good luck to all of your fantasy teams in Week 8 and happy Halloween.